Samsung didn't have final packaging ready for our sponsored unboxing of the Odyssey G7 monitor, so they sent us something even better, a flippin' crate. Let's get this puppy open and have a look at the little brother to what is arguably the god of current gaming monitors, the Odyssey G9. Inside then, we've got a nice sturdy base, a height adjustable stand, so on top of the basic adjustments like tilt, it's got a little bit of swivel built in there. It can also pivot, goes up and down. This is nice. Nice little cable management doodad-a-majiggy right there. We've got DisplayPort, power brick, USB 3, and a power cord, and big reveal, the new G7, even though it shares the same name as the old G7, is a very different beast. Instead of being a 1440p curved panel, it's actually a 4K flat panel this time around. Boop. And it goes on a little something like that. And these are nice captive screws, so you never have to worry about losing them. And since we're back here, it's a perfect time to talk about a couple of other features. So we just take this kind of plastic trim piece, clip it together, and clip it on. And you can see that under it is actually an RGB ring. This has a feature that Samsung calls CoreSync, which allows the LED lights at the back to synchronize with the content that's being displayed on the screen. So there's technologies that exist that do this already, but many of them are third party. Now it's built right into the monitor. The other big one is HDMI 2.1. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We've got not just DisplayPort here, but also HDMI 2.1. So that means a maximum of 4K 120 Hertz, meaning that this could be a perfect pair for both a gaming PC and a console if you were in, say, a dorm room or something like that and you had limited space for a secondary TV. Oh, well, no, that's about it. We're set up. All we gotta do now is plug it into power and then connect our gaming PC. Oh, hey, that's fun. We need a worthy gaming computer if we're gonna be at 4K 144 Hertz. Oh yeah, did I mention that? On DisplayPort, it can go up to 4K 144 Hertz. So I will be interested to see if they're using DisplayStream compression to get us 444 color, or if we're gonna have to resort to chroma subsampling in order to do that. The display should intelligently switch between inputs, but DisplayPort, particularly when you first attach it, is notoriously finicky, so it wouldn't surprise me if we had to give the system a quick reset before it grabs it. Let's see if it picked up at 144 by default. I see 120 is definitely, yep, there it is. 4K, 144 Hertz, absolutely no configuration, and we're running at 8-bit color, RGB, full dynamic range. Perfect. This is an HDR400 monitor, so for any games or videos that support HDR, you will be able to accept an HDR signal, though it should be noted that for the best HDR experience, you will prefer something more like the Odyssey G9, which can handle, if I recall correctly, Samsung rates it at 2000 nits peak brightness compared to 400 on this one. Another thing we can confirm in the NVIDIA control panel is support for G-Sync. This is a G-Sync compatible monitor. It's also FreeSync Premium Pro certified. So what that means is if you don't happen to have the absolute latest and greatest graphics card that can, you know, push 4K 144 frames per second, when your FPS does dip, the display will dynamically adjust its refresh rate depending on the FPS that your machine is putting out, which helps to smooth animations and reduce tearing and stutter. This is an IPS type panel, which means that whether you're looking at it from a fairly extreme angle, like I am, so that you guys can see the front as well, or even up or down, it's gonna look pretty flippin' fantastic. Oh boy, come on, you can do it. Oh no. What we're looking at right now is not the performance of the game. You know, CSGO, even at 4K, is gonna run well on a card like this. But what we wanna see is, as we're panning the camera around, how crisp does the image stay? Like if there's text on this wall, for example, as we pan back and forth, can we still read it? Wow. Yes, this is definitely faster than the TN panels of old in terms of the pixel response times. So you get very little, if any, smearing as you're moving around and as objects are moving across the screen. You'll particularly notice that sort of thing with a really dark object on a light background, for example, but you can see here, there's almost nothing in terms of smearing or ghosting behind it. Like these right here in particular, we should see like kind of discoloration behind them, but it's not there. Not to the eye anyway. A camera with a proper Pursuit setup is going to be able to see it. To be clear, I'm not setting up a Pursuit camera setup right now. It's just something I've looked at a lot of times over the years. This is very, very solid. And this, my friends, is a perfect example of where technology like G-Sync and FreeSync comes into play. So you'll see, we'll go up as high as 120, 144 FPS, so we're really taking advantage of that full refresh rate of the monitor, but we'll also dip down as low as, 95? Yeah, there we go. We're right around 90 frames per second in this area. Man, that's smooth. I love that G-Sync is no longer like an extra 150 bucks or whatever to get it built into your monitor. Just being able to take a FreeSync Premium Pro panel like this one and run G-Sync or FreeSync on it, not being bound to whatever graphics card vendor I've locked into, much better experience for the end user. That would be really cool if the feature was just built into the monitor. Core lighting, turn the LED lighting at the front and back of your product on or off. Oh, okay, no, light effect. Rainbow flash, double flash, breathing. Looking good. And actually, no, I think it might be here. We just gotta change it to static and go to Core Sync on. Oh, cool. Well, that's an advantage. Not having to have it run in like software on your machine. So let's see, I just have a full white display on right now. So that kind of makes sense. So let's fire up Doom Eternal. Okay. That's pretty cool. So when it turned green, I'll show you what I was looking at. These, so it seems like it kind of grabs the brightest part of the scene as opposed to the overwhelming color of the scene, which is kind of a novel way of doing that. So I would expect right now, it would be more of like a white. Yep. So it has kind of a bluey white, because when the whole screen was white, it was this color. Oh shoot, it's the display port came disconnected again. Oh, I didn't even notice that. What? Oh, that's cool. Going flat on the 28 inches was definitely the right move for Samsung. A curve on a big display makes a ton of sense and increases immersion, but on a smaller one like this, not that 28 inches is small, but it's definitely smaller than the G9 at 49 inches. On a smaller one like this, I think flat makes more sense. Some people prefer it, and thankfully for them, there are curved options out there, but for me personally, flat at this size makes a little bit more sense. No, I'm not gonna die. You just watch. Well, that's fine. This is as good a time as any to switch over to the Xbox. So we're just gonna turn on the Xbox and we should get prompted to switch our input. Let's fire up the Xbox. There we go. Hey. On the right display, it is downright gorgeous.
Wow.
Shut up. Now I'm gonna crash just to spite you guys. And that's pretty much it for the G7. The big features again then are it's 4K 144 Hz without any chroma subsampling, support for G-Sync and FreeSync, so no matter what flavor of graphics card you wanna hook up to it, you are freaking good to go. And of course, their Core Sync functionality, which synchronizes the lighting at the back of the monitor so that it'll kind of shine off the wall with what's being displayed on the screen. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you get subscribed and you can check out Samsung's Odyssey G7 at the link down below. Thanks for watching.